Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar from the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. As for many areas, we'll be seeing a proper taste of summer to end meteorological spring. The end of May is going to be really quite nice. Temperatures are not going to be too high, it's going to be generally warm and generally very dry too, and of course plenty of sunshine. However, further northwards and westwards, we will always see the risk of a bit more cloud and a bit of rain, as we're seeing at the moment. Again, it's not going to be washout conditions in these regions, but there is more than likely going to be some thicker cloud, some bits of rainfall, and some slightly cooler temperatures. And that's normally the status quo this sort of time of year, as we do see that jet stream shift northwards. So if you are in parts of Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland and Scotland, there will be some warm sunny weather over the next week or so and perhaps beyond, but there will equally be some areas of rain and cloud. But if you are in England and Wales, it's going to be a great period this next sort of 10 days or so for warm, dry and sunny conditions to really dominate pretty much every single day, with those temperatures perhaps into next week getting into the low 20s and maybe into the longer term even as high as the mid 20s. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. As you can see on the live radar at the moment, it is bone dry through England and Wales with very warm and sunny conditions prevailing, temperatures rising to around the low 20s this afternoon, around 20 to 22 degrees being the peak in many areas. However, further northwards and westwards, we do have a weak weather front. Again, not a massive wall of rain, a few heavier patches within it, but it is a degrading weather front moving eastwards and southwards, so perhaps tonight it could give a bit of rain through northern England and parts of Wales, but mainly just a bit of thick cloud before eventually just completely clears into tomorrow. But it is bringing, as I said, a bit of rain in places, and it is holding those temperatures down. Some areas in Scotland right now with some quite moderate rainfall will be saying what is all the buzz about it being stunning out there. And it's just unfortunate that this high pressure is really only extending sort of the Scottish borders at the moment. But as I said, over the coming days, it will extend further and we will see widely dry conditions as well. But just not every day, which is looking likely for England and Wales. Now, if you put on the temperatures, as of around 4 p.m, you can see it is a stunning day in most areas. Temperatures widely into the high teens or low 20s. You see the darker oranges through many central areas, definitely down into the southwest, the London area, and up into northwest England as well, seeing some really, really nice conditions. Even into the far south of Scotland, seeing some warmer conditions. But as soon as you go further northwards into that rain and cloud, we're seeing slightly cooler conditions. And that's the same for Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Most areas are still relatively warm today, just where we see that heavier rain along the far north and west coasts, holding those temperatures down. Now we can see this even better if we go over to net weather by having a look at the radar, but we also got the live sort of visual satellite, the visible sort of spectrum here, so we've got all the clouds on this as well. And you can see for England and Wales, it's pretty much clear skies, apart from a few cumulus clouds popping up perhaps in the East Midlands and into the London area, the South East and East Anglia, a few across northern England, but really it's just this weather front with thick cloud and areas of on and off moderate rainfall. Some patches clearing through parts of the Republic of Ireland and maybe across the far south of Scotland. But as I said, this weather front is moving in and it should slowly improve over the coming hours as this weather front does disintegrate. So do now go over to the UKV and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. Now you can see that rainfall moving into the north and the west at the moment, stunning elsewhere. As we head through this evening, that rainfall will slowly drift southwards and eastwards, but it completely disintegrates overnight. And by tomorrow afternoon, that weather front is just a few patches of cloud. And once again, another very dry and quite a sunny day. Again, unpredictable with the exact cloud amounts that could drift in along the south, as we do see a bit of an easterly flow. But most areas, once again, very warm and very dry. If we do move into Monday now, as you can see again, another dry morning, and that will continue into a very dry afternoon. Few heavy thunder showers are possible, but most areas once again very dry, very warm and very sunny. As we progress into Tuesday, could see a bit of cloud building there, and this could start to cool down the temperatures a little bit, transitioning air masses. Perhaps we'll have to keep an eye on that into next week, but most areas once again are fairly warm and fairly dry, and the same into Wednesday, another day of a lot of sunny, dry weather, and again the temperatures will respond wherever we see those sunshine areas. So you can see for most of England and Wales it's bone dry with pretty much consistent sunshine most of the time over the next 5 days, and that looks likely to continue as we do head towards the end of the month into the start of June. Now, if you put in the upper air temperatures, you can see it's nothing too exceptional over the coming days. Again, getting to around 5 degrees at 850 HPA, maybe slightly higher. So that's kind of average to slightly above average. It's because we've got dry conditions and sunny conditions where those temperatures are going to feel warm out there. The upper air temperatures aren't actually anything too impressive. Again, they do peak sort of into Monday into Tuesday. That's where you can see the best temperatures. But as I said, into Tuesday, you could see a slight transition there in those upper air temperatures, slightly cooler. So we could hold those temperatures down in a few spots in the north and the east, but it will still be largely dry and fairly warm, and those warm air masses do return into Wednesday and Thursday. So always some cooler air trying to drift in around the high pressure in the north, but most areas continue to stay very dry and fairly warm. If you do put in the 2 metre temperatures, again you can see this afternoon widely around that sort of 18 to 20 degree mark, peaking around that 21 or 22 degree mark somewhere through central England. Scotland, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland more around that 15 to 17 degree mark, struggling a little bit more there. But as we head into tomorrow, it'll be a widely very warm day once again, widely 18 to 20 degrees, peaking around that 21 or 22 degree mark. Again, the temperatures aren't anything exceptional, but it's going to feel warm out there because of the dry and sunny conditions. The upper air temperatures, as I said, aren't anything too ridiculous. For parts of southern Republic of Ireland, 17, 18, and maybe parts of southern Scotland too, but once again, further northwards and westwards you go, cooler with still a few drips and drabs of rain around and thicker cloud. As we progress into Monday now, again, cool overnight, but nothing again that's too exceptional. And into Monday, widely the warmest days. Those upper air temperatures do rise slightly, perhaps as high as 20 to 22 degrees widely, peaking around the 23 or 24 degree mark. Very warm, quite hot, in fact, in a few regions for the time of year. Very dry and very sunny. Very, very pleasant indeed. Into Tuesday, you can see the upper air temperatures do reduce, as we saw a minute ago, and that will hold those temperatures down further eastwards, maybe only 15 to 17 degrees. It will still feel warm out there in the sunshine, but maybe just an edge off those temperatures. Further south and westwards you go, still 18 to 20 degrees, so still fairly warm. And into Wednesday, those temperatures widely recover once again to around that 18 to 20 degree mark, as high as 20 or 21 in a few spots. So the next 5 days, really warm, really sunny and really dry for most areas. Temperatures could fluctuate a little bit, especially into Tuesday, but most days, most areas will be hovering around the high teens into the low 20s, perhaps peaking on Monday around that 22 or 23 degree mark. Really can't ask for too much more this time of year in terms of these conditions. Again, the only thing you could ask for is a slightly warmer air mass, but even then I think most people would agree these sort of high teens, low 20s is sort of the perfect temperature really. It's nice and warm and pleasant to be out there in t-shirt and shorts, but at the same time it's not too warm that it's getting a bit overwhelming. So if we do now have a look at the GFS and see what that is going in store for the next couple of weeks. Again, high pressure is in control at the moment, and if we run through this, you'll just see high pressure stays in control. Does see some strain, perhaps in around a week's time, from lower pressure into parts of Scotland. It could sweep through temporarily, but high pressure builds back in once again, and right towards the end of the run we are secured under higher pressure. An east to southeasterly wind is moving in, the upper air temperatures rising even higher, as you can see there, 10 degree isotherm moving in, and that would give temperatures into the mid-20s. Again, you go to the United Kingdom look, go to the 2 metre temperatures, and you go to that, if you go to the 6 p.m. point there, you can see widely high teens, low 20s. Unfortunately, we can't have a look at the 3 p.m. peak, but you can see the midday peak is around that 20 to 24 degree mark, or even 25, so you'd expect to see 26 or 27 come 3 p.m. peak temperatures. So very warm and very dry, very pleasant out there from the GFS for the next couple of weeks. And if we do actually have a look at the accumulated precipitation, you can see here for most of England and Wales, barely a few millimetres of rain over the next 384 hours, the next sort of 15 or 16 days. Scotland, maybe a bit of rain, but again, nothing compared to what we've seen at times this spring. And you can see the UK there in a bit of a lull compared to most of this chart here, apart from really Saharan Africa. UK is nearly near the driest conditions here in most of Europe. So yeah, really, really nice for England and Wales, and even for Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, which will see rain at times. There will still be plenty of warm and dry weather. If you do now go to the GM, see how that does compare. Again, high pressure building in and continuing to dominate. Again, you could see a bit of strain from low pressure in there in the longer term. All the way to day 10, high pressure extends over, a bit of an easterly flow which could cool it down a little bit in some eastern regions. But once again, very warm and very dry for most areas. The upper air temperatures getting to around 8 to 10 degrees above average. If we do zoom into United Kingdom look for those midday temperatures, you can see widely in the high teens into the low 20s. Here, the best conditions are actually in northern and western areas because of that easterly flow. Still probably would get to 20 degrees in London by 3 p.m, but best conditions in the north and west, where it's widely 22 to maybe as high as 25 degrees come 3 p.m. peak conditions. So GFS GM slightly altered in terms of where the exact peak temperatures would be, where the hottest parts of the country will be, but most areas here would still be very warm, above average, very dry, and very pleasant. And here, if we look at the accumulated precipitation, the next 10 days, the GM has minimal rainfall for England and Wales, literally nothing, and even for Scotland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, perhaps as high as half an inch of rain, which would normally fall with one sort of weather front moving in, one low pressure system, or even less than one low pressure system. A few heavy showers can give half an inch of rain, and here we're seeing that over the next 10 days, so very dry conditions setting up. Now finally, if we finish on the ECMWF, again high pressure continuing to dominate over the coming days, and see some strain from low pressure at times, perhaps in 7 days time, but still all the way to day 10 we continue to see fairly warm and fairly dry conditions prevail. Perhaps slightly more precipitation in the north of Scotland. You can see that reflects here, more rainfall there. But again, most of England and Wales bone dry. Again, temperature deviation will be slightly lower because we have more of an influence from that air mass out in the North Atlantic towards Iceland, but still it is fairly warm and fairly dry for most regions. If you finish by looking at the ensembles, you can see this is well reflected. Pretty much the next couple of weeks we're average to above average all the time. Again, the air masses aren't anything too ridiculous. That's why we're not thinking anything much above 25 degrees is likely in the next couple of weeks. But we're probably going to be around that 20 degree range or slightly higher pretty much every single day over the next couple of weeks. Perhaps bar from Tuesday, we've seen that brief dip in upper air temperatures. Precipitation is minimal all the way out to the end of May, and even as we head into June, I suspect these precipitation spikes are mainly from anomaly runs, which have slightly higher precipitation. So very dry, very warm, and yeah, very pleasant. Again, 2 meter temperatures widely around that high teens, low 20 degree mark, and again, these are the 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. times, so you can always add on a couple of degrees. So London, looking likely over the next couple of weeks, we are going to be in around that 20 degree point, if not higher, as I said, every day for the next few weeks. And finally, if we do look at the ECMWF charts, just to compare, again, generally around average, maybe slightly below average, a little bit more towards the end of May, which could take a little bit off those temperatures, but still widely high teens into the 20s and longer range turning warmer as well. Again, if we look at the 2 meter temperatures, perhaps slightly lower as we head into next week, maybe only sort of 17 to 18 or 19 degrees, not the low 20s that the GFS was showing, but regardless, it'd still be very warm and dry, bone dry conditions still prevailing here. So pretty much all runs now are showing summer-like conditions to really dominate, something warm and dry for the next week, perhaps even longer, all the way to the end of May, and even perhaps to start June. But I don't want to call that yet, simply because there is still so much uncertainty at that sort of time frame. But the conditions are looking stunning out there, so if you have got any plans to do anything outdoors the next week or two, it is looking pretty amazing. Only caveat perhaps is parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland where there could be a bit of rain and a bit of cloud, thicker cloud holding those temperatures down at times. But again, we'll have to tackle that day by day. For most of England and Wales, stunning summer-like conditions to dominate for the foreseeable future. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you go out, as I said, enjoy the weather over the next couple of weeks, and I'll see you again for another video soon.